And welcome everyone to the playoffs for Coalition League's spring split here. It's game one, best of fives, and a single best of three. And tonight we're going to be casting that best of three between third place DoV Nightfall and sixth place Shadow Keepers. I'm Random Minion Caster, and casting alongside me for this game will be Aderant Luna. How are you doing, Luna?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. Very excited to get into this game here. Now, both teams, DOV and Shadowkeepers, have agreed to an abbreviated best of three, so that we won't be getting the full best of five, but I'm expecting good games nonetheless. And they have completed their pro draft here, so we're just going to look at what they've done. DOV Nightfall banning out the Echo, Talia, Yasuo, all targeted at Alpels there, and then a Vi, Lee Sin. Looking at the jungle for Shadowkeepers, who they're using E-sub tonight, Kyle Timon, and that's why they've lost two bans. So Shadowkeeper's only going to have three bans here. It's going to be the Swain, Shyvana, and Alawi. DOV Nightfall going to be picking Thresh, Misfortune, Oriana, Amumu, and Mordekaiser, while Shadowkeeper's going to go with Caitlyn, Diana, Maokai, Nautilus, and Xin Zhao. So, Luna, what are your thoughts on this pick and ban?
Okay, so obviously, as we've said like all season, I like the Swain ban against DOV because Web Hippo's Swain is phenomenal. If you if you let him get Swain, there's only been a couple games where he hasn't done that great on Swain. So it's definitely a very good respect ban. Um Comp wise, I really like DOV's comp. They have two ways to deliver the ball from Oriana and Amumu and Thresh. They have three tanks with Thresh, Amumu, and Mordekaiser. They have, Mordekaiser can just lock someone away in the Death Realm. You have the bullet time from MF in off of an Amumu ult, or off of even an Oriana Shockwave. So I mean, that's very strong comp. I don't think we've seen Alpaz on Diana yet this season, so that's kind of an interesting pick. And I'm not. I think. Let's see. They would have picked the Oriana on DOV after the Diana pick, so Alpaz might have a rough lane early. But aside from that, Shadowkeepers they have a fairly decent comp too. They have good burst damage with the Diana and the Caitlyn. They have two of the best tanks in the game at the moment, Maokai and Nautilus. And I don't think we've seen a Xin Shao this season. We might have. I don't quite remember.
I believe we saw some in week one or week two, and I believe it was Shadowkeepers at the time and DOV who might have played the Sintal, but certainly not in recent weeks here.
Right. And I'm not sure. I can kind of see why they would pick the Xin Shao because his ult can help negate the bullet time from MF. But aside from that, I mean, I think Zen's fairly decent at counter jungling at the moment, so they might be looking to go for some heavy jungle control with the Zen Shao pick.
Yeah, definitely here. And the bans on the side of DOV Nightfall all thrown towards El Pals, but that Echo ban in that first phase gonna unfortunately hit Kyle Tyman as well. So they actually end up managing to ban out three champions and two of the players for Shadows Keeper's side. And also that Diana pick, I think we've seen Phantom X on that Diana quite a few times during this league. So I don't know if maybe that's a counter pick from El Pals, but we'll have to see if he'll be able to use it to the same effect that Phantom X has. And with that, the teams are loading here onto the Rift. So we're just going to head right on over here as both teams are now spawning. Now, do you expect to see any level 1 shenanigans? We often see this Nautilus Thresh matchup.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Right now, if I'm both teams, I would just be respectful and just go for the 5 point, just because generally Thresh is supposed to lose to Nautilus in the matchup. Now, it is still more of a skill based matchup, because you can outplay a Nautilus as Thresh. It's just really hard to do. But if you are more skilled, then you can do it.
For sure, and I guess with that, we should be seeing the bot lane go the way of Shadow Keepers if there is no jungle pressure applied into the bot lane here. But Xin Zhao, a very good early game ganker, can get a lot of damage down really quickly and clears the jungle quite comfortably. So they are going to be starting the bot side, both junglers, it looks like, and that means that bot lane might be influenced early by Xin Zhao if he wishes to clear his bot side. We'll have to see if he does manage to do that. And both top laners in the top lane here, not gonna, looks like, try and fake a leash. Instead, Lord of Ace is gonna try and manipulate the wave, maybe, looking to see if he can get something done here. Rinks, sorry, is gonna try and fake that leash, so that will allow Lord of Aces to try and mess the minion wave up a little bit, though I don't really know if that actually did anything when he pulled that minion out of line there.
It does look like it's a little bit farther up than what it normally would be. So it might have. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, and for on the side of DoV Nightfall, with Gun starting on that bot side, Amumu a little bit slower to start his ganks off there. Might be trying to set up for an eventual level 3 or level 4 gank from the Amumu. And we do see Gun trying to power clear, heading over to his blue. And Kao Taiman gonna do the same thing. So they'll be mirroring each other on the map here. Will both be arriving near the top side at roughly the same time. Mid lane, Phantom X and Alpels going fairly even right now. Phantom X not yet able to abuse that range advantage. It's going to take quite a bit of poke here from Alpels, but Alpels has to be careful for the ball and the zoning coming out of him there.
Yeah. Now, if we're actually looking at where ganks are going to happen, I would think that Zen's going to go top, and then Amumu's either going to answer or go mid.
Yeah, and as you called, Kao Taiman is going to go top lane, and he's on Lord of Aces. The flash came out to try and keep him alive. Kao Taiman messed up and didn't quite get the last hit off, but Rinks will be able to secure that. And you're going to get first blood over to Rinks in the top lane.
Yeah, that was a very good game. Just like I was saying, Gun probably should have responded a bit sooner than what he did. He might have been able to pick up a kill or maybe even keep Lord of Aces alive. It's kind of hard to say at this point.
Yeah, definitely there. And that's all the flashes blown on the top side of the map. But Kao Taiman is going to rotate straight to that mid lane, try and get a whole bunch of poke down, and Phantom X will get the flash out of that as well. So the only people left with flashes on the side of DoV Nightfall right now, they are bot lane, the only lane that Kao Taiman has yet to gank, and it looks like he might be looking there now. Or he could be looking for a repeat gank in the mid lane. Manages to sneak around. This time Phantom X doesn't have his flash available, and he will go down solo to Kao Taiman. 1-0-1 right now.
That was very, very aggressive by Kyle. Very good play. It's definitely, like I was saying, they wanted the Zen just for pure control. Because right now this man is all over the place.
Yeah, definitely making really good use of Amumu's weak early game here. He's getting all the pressure, and Amumu's having difficulty counter ganking. But that kill mid isn't going to set Phantom X too far behind. He is running the Unsealed Spellbook and teleport, so he will be able to teleport back in lane and will be able to pick up a combat summoner once the cooldown on that has run out. And we do see pings coming down into the bot lane there. Do note that there are some wards there, so they're asking for a gank from Gunth, it looks like, but just waiting to try and get a good way for Gunth to get in. There is also a ward here in the Tri-Bush, fairly fresh here, so Gunth gonna have some problems ganking that bot lane.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the issues with the Mumu is while he is one of the safest junglers to play as, because I mean if you toss your Q and you miss, well, okay, I guess I just go back to my jungle. If you hit it, then you're all in. But and I mean with as tanky as Mumu is, you know, that's not normally an issue.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it's all in. He has to commit on his gangs there, but at the same time, as you mentioned, if he misses that bandit shot, he's able to walk away. He's got low opportunity cost there. If he misses, can just go right back to farming. And it looks like he's just going to keep on power farming here, desperately trying to reach 6, where his Curse of the Mummy becomes unlocked there and will be able to get his ultimate off. He is right now a bit down in experience compared to Kyle Timon, because Kyle has managed to get some great ganks off, soaked a bit of lane EXP. And we do see Kyle looking for yet another gank in the top lane. And a beautiful setup from Rings here. He's got the root there, but will it be enough? It will not. The shield will keep Lord of Aces alive, and we did see quickly a glimpse in the mid lane as Phantom X going down 1v1 to Alpels, and that was a counter pick from Phantom X into Diana, which Phantom X should be extremely familiar with here.
Yeah, that's ooh.
Oh, and
wow.
a good counter gank from Gunth as Rinks and Kyle Timon decide to try and dive and pick Lord of Aces up. Lord of Aces did have the Death Realm available, did not even have to use it there to keep himself alive. Instead, they'll get the double kill in the top lane, and it's going to go all over to Gunth. So hopefully it will help him hit 6 sooner, and that's going to be an Amumu coming online a little earlier there.
Yeah, and that's really nice that Gump actually was able to do that pre-6, because that means when he hits 6, he'll have his ult up, which he just did. And like you said, Lord of Aces didn't have to ult either, so his ult is available for the next fight against Rinks.
Yeah, that will be absolutely huge, because they need every advantage they can get against this tree. We've seen what happens when Rinks on his Maokai gets really far ahead. He becomes nigh unkillable. It takes about 4 or 5 people to take him down, and even then, it takes a hell of a long time. So if they can stop him, get Lord of Aces able to handle him in the 1v1, that will be a win for DoV Nightfall here. And Dragon has spawned, is ready. We do see Kyle Timon in the area there, looking like he's trying to maybe get a gank off or catch Gunth in transit. He's going aggressively right now. Maybe going to try and flank either the top, or either the mid or the bot lane, sorry. But for now, just getting vision down in the jungle, it looks like.
Yeah, and while he's making all these gank attempts, and most of them being successful, he's still doing rather well in his jungle farming as well. He's only 9 below.
Yeah, and we see the teleport coming down from Rings here. Phantom X getting caught out. The Moonfall will drag him in, and that will be Phantom X going down to Alpels with Rings for the assist, and that means that Dragon is now open here, viable for Shadow Keepers to pick up. Lord of Aces doesn't have his teleport ready, used it to get back into lane, so this should be a free first Drake for Shadow Keepers. It's going to be the Cloud Drake.
Yeah, that was a very huge teleport. Like that was a very clean play by Shadow Keepers.
Yeah, and Lord of Aces is not really able to shove that top wave in effectively either, so won't be able to get much of any turret damage there. Rings already almost back to lane. As soon as they got the kill, it looked like he just threw a sapling and just got a punch or two on the dragon, started running away right immediately, and so he won't lose too much in that top lane either. Just about a wave or a wave and a half here for Rings.
Yeah, and Rings does already have his Merc rights, so he didn't really lose much anything there. But Gump did answer by taking Rift Herald.
Yeah, DoV firing back really well there. They know that they lost control of Dragon, but Gunth making sure that it wasn't a complete losing trade for them. They just went down 1 death, and right now the gold very close on both teams. Scores 2-4, but the gold difference only 500 gold. That's completely negligible. Bot lane, Web Hippo has yet to land a death sentence, which counts. Nonstop Brain and Louisville Gent doing very, very well for themselves to dodge all those skill shots right now.
Yeah, and I mean, even if Hippo does hit a death sentence, it depends on who he hits and whether or not it's actually a good idea to follow up and go in on that death sentence.
Definitely here, and we do see a gank from Gunth into the top lane onto Rinks. A good ultimate from Maokai will keep both Gunth and Lord of Aces from being able to properly engage there. And Kyle Timon was also running up in the area. DoV at Nightfall was aware of that. Will end up backing off that fight. So only the ultimate from Rings there burnt in a bit of time from both junglers.
Yeah, it was definitely good peel. It was good respect play.
And yet another missed death sentence in that bot lane. And to be fair, DOV doing very well for themselves. As you said, Nautilus usually does mean bad days ahead for the Thresh, but right now Poison Lynch able to get a tiniest of leads in terms of CS in that bot lane. So doing very well against that Caitlyn Nautilus bot lane.
That's very true. Caitlyn is one of the longest ranged ADCs in the game, so it can be hard to keep up farm against her.
And we're seeing a repeat of a couple of minutes ago. Phantom X once more getting caught on his jungle. The Moonfall comes in. That's going to be yet another kill on Phantom X. This time going over to Kao Timon. Phantom X having a really rough game this game. 0-4-0. 80% of the team's deaths right now.
Yeah, that's a bit of a yikes. I mean, I guess he got the flash out of Kyle, but I mean, at what cost? You know, he's already down as it is. I mean, as far as farm goes, he's only down 3 TFs, so it's not that bad. But I mean, at the same time, anytime that he's out of lane right now is not good for him.
Yeah, completely unable to move anywhere without seemingly Kao Timon and Alpals just being on him entirely. And Gunth right now, having only ganked the top lane, has yet to really put his Curse of the Mummy to good use here. Hasn't really had a chance to use it. And he is 100% of the team's kills right now as well. So we'll have to see if he can do something to get his team back into the game here.
Yeah, unfortunately for Gunth and DoV, Shadowkeepers have been warding his jungle extremely well. So anytime he tries to go for a gank, Xin just counter ganks elsewhere.
Yeah, and it hasn't worked out too well for Gunth now. As we look at the gold differentials here, the bot lanes both at 4,000 here. That means they can buy an item, but it looks like Louisville Gent couldn't quite get his full item there. Going with the BF Sword and a pickaxe with the Berserker's Greaves. MF Poison Lynch managing to get his Essence Reaver though. So we'll have a completed item up on Louisville Gent. It'll be interesting to see how that works out. Gunth now going to try and force a gank in the top lane, but it looks like they were aware of it on the side of Shadowkeepers, and they're going to drop Shelly into that top lane. I believe it was running a little low on time there, so they're going to just drop it and try and get something out, but at least they get quite a few plates there. Bot lane, Kao Timon catching out Web Hippo in his own jungle. That bottom side of the map no longer belongs at all in any way to DoV Nightfall. It's all Shadowkeepers. That's where Kao Timon and Alpals have set up a tent, and they've caught out Phantom X, they've caught out Gunth, and they almost caught Web Hippo out, but Web Hippo will be able to get out with Poison Lynch backing him up, and they'll make it safely back into their lane.
Yeah, it's an interesting call to have to drop Rift where they did. I feel like maybe they could have dropped it closer to Tribush and might have been able to get a little bit more damage off than what they did, but I mean, it is what it is. A couple plates are still a couple of plates.
Yeah, definitely here. And we do see on the side of Shadowkeepers, they are getting the second Drake of the game, the Mountain Drake. So they've got a Cloud, they've got a Mountain, a bit more tankiness, and ultimate cooldowns here, which are absolutely massive, especially in this top lane, as we see Rings getting hunted down by Lord of Aces. His ultimate was up, so the cooldown didn't matter, and the tankiness wasn't enough to save him. So that'll be a one-on-one kill going over to Lord of Aces in the top lane.
Yeah, the same thing is with the Maokai. I mean, if a Mordekaiser starts to snowball, it can almost be impossible to kill Mordekaiser as well. So
and now Gunth ganking that bot lane, looking to try and get Louisville Gent. Will bandage toss onto Non-Stop Brain, choosing to hold his ultimate for now. He didn't have it up, sorry. And the Ignite goes down onto Non-Stop Brain, but Non-Stop Brain going to get out alive. Does have the shield to keep him alive, and it's going to be Lord of Aces now in jeopardy as we see the teleport coming out from Rings. Kao Timon fighting him, the 1v1 might have gone down, except that Rings has turned the tides. It's a 2v1, and he gets the turnaround kill. So that's going to be a kill going over to Rings in that top lane.
Yeah, it's a very good answer by Rings with that teleport to keep Kyle alive. If he didn't, Kyle probably would have died to Lord of Aces.
Yeah, and the mid lane turret also did go down while all that action was happening across the map there. Alpal's getting that solo takedown on that turret. No Herald assist needed there. He's just so far ahead right now of Phantom X. It's not showing the levels, it's not showing the CS, but it's showing in the pressure he can put down. He's 2-0-1 and gets that first turret gold. But even with that first turret gold, Shadowkeeper's not exactly really far ahead. Only a 1.4 thousand goal difference at 15 minutes. So not a huge difference here.
It's not a huge difference, but it's still showing. I mean, mid's already cracked for Shadowkeepers. Looks like top will probably be the next one to go down, depending on how the bot lane rotations look. And Rift Herald is back up, so that will probably be the next call, I would say.
Yep, and we do see Rings trying to clear out the vision there. Carl Timon and Alpal is already hitting up as well. Now, Gunth is in the area, but he's going to have to go for the hero steal if he wants any chance to try and get this at all. Looks like he's just going to go for the Gromp instead because he can't reach Herald. Lord of Aces in the area as well, but he will be late. Going to see if he can pick any late stragglers up, but no, it won't look like he can. Now, Phantom X finding himself in a bit of a dangerous spot here. Will have to run the long way out, or he might have been collapsed on by Carl Timon and Alpals. Forces flash forced out by both junglers here. Gunth using the flash aggressively, Carl Timon using it defensively, and bot lane, Poison Lynch getting the double kill in the bot lane. The bullet time coming off perfectly, wasn't able to get CC. Nonstop Brain already used the depth charge early, so had no way to stop Poison Lynch bullet time, and Louisville Gent put in a rough spot, had no way to dodge that ever-expanding cone. Will go down double kill to DOB Nightfall, and now Gunth in that mid lane looking to try and take down the bounty on Alpals there. Does manage to get it. Alpals burning the flash, trying to pick up Phantom X. Not sure he's going to be able to get him. Phantom X running away now. The bot lane coming up to assist. That's going to be a double kill over to Phantom X, one of which had a bounty to try and get him back into the game here. 2-4-0 on Phantom X now.
Yeah, that was massive because both Diana and Xin Chao had bounties on them, and Phantom X got both of those. So that is something that he really needed. And back to that kill on Louisville Gent and Nonstop Brain. That, like you said, that bullet time was absolutely gorgeous. Louisville, he had nowhere to go. If he stepped down, it was straight into Thresh. If he stepped up, well, I mean, it's in the bullet time damage.
Yeah, and it definitely ended up paying dividends. That good placement out top lane. Lord of Aces and Rings fighting here. Rings desperately trying to save his turret. Will not be able to do so. And now he's alone exposed. And Lord of Aces gonna take him down once again in the 1v1. But we do see Alpals now chasing here. Doesn't want to let him get out scot-free. But he doesn't have a choice. Doesn't manage to land the Q. Won't be able to follow up there. And so Lord of Aces is gonna take that 1-for-0 and the turret for free. And with that, DOB Nightfall going to be in the lead for the first time this game here. Now, Carl Timon still playing the aggressive bot side, but he's alone. Doesn't have Alpals to back him up this time. Will instead go down to Gunth. He did manage to steal the red buff, but it's just going to be a buff transfer as it transfers over to Gunth just in time for Inferno Drake, third Drake of the game, to spawn here.
Yeah, this seems to be something that we've seen happen quite a bit in the league, where a team might not have the best start, but once you transition into the mid game, they'll either go to a 1-3-1 or a 1-4, and they just out of nowhere start to snowball like crazy, and it's just like, how did the game just switch so one-sidedly so quickly?
Yeah, and out of all the teams, DOV Nightfall seems to do this the most. They have really good teamwork, coordination, and team synergy here. We've seen it many a time where they are down in lane. We've seen it especially against 100 Weaves, who are known to be a really strong early game team. We've seen it against Rampage, where DOV is dying really badly in lane, but they managed to come back in the mid game. It seems like they're going to pull it again here, the DOV special, but they're trying to siege up the mid lane turret. Can they get it? Just one more auto, but the minions get distracted, and that turret will live with 39 health. If somebody on DOV had so much as sneeze at it, it would have gone down.
Man, that's depressing to see. It's just a sliver. Like, looking at that's gotta hurt.
Definitely, but at least it means that it will be a sense of false safety here for Shadow Keepers. But the Herald is going down on the side of Shadow Keepers. They're going to try and push in here onto the mid inner turret. There are no more minions, but they won't need it. Shelly's going to charge right in there and almost takes the inner turret down. Instead, it's going to be Non-Stop Brain using the anchor toss, but he didn't want to get Gunth, and Gunth wanted to get him. Gunth manages gets a beautiful 4-man Curse of the Mummy off. And now it's going to be DoV all over Shadow Keepers. Potentially an ace here, a flash out from Rings to keep himself alive. Kautaiman going to be the fourth one to go down. That's a 4-for-0 and an initiate from Shadow Keepers. And with that, DoV is going to just rotate straight over to Baron here.
Yeah, that Poison Lynch's MF is disgusting. Like, again, that combo with Guns and Mumu, he dropped the Curse of the Sad Mummy, and then a bullet time across the entire team. Like, you can't ask for a better ult than that.
No, you can't. I mean, the Curse of the Sad bullet time has been revived here. It was a very common strategy a couple of seasons ago, and DoV now putting it to great use here. The magic resistance shred from a Mumu, amplifying the damage further from the bullet time. It's worked great, and now they've got Baron. They're going to be able to push right in. The mid lane turret also did go down while that was happening to the minions. They finally got their act together and took that turret down as well. So now SK going to be on the back foot as they've lost all their outer turrets. We'll have to defend that shell of inner turrets here against a Baroned up DoV Nightfall, who's also ahead in gold right now. Tons of outstanding gold on bounties of DoV right now.
Yeah, so right now, if I'm Shadow Keepers, I'm thinking, okay, we still have Dragon Advantage, and it's still kind of early in the game. Like, I mean, we've seen some games go 40+ minutes. Then I believe the fastest game we've seen this season was a 19-minute game, so we're already past that point. So I think you just wait out the Baron, maybe get a pick if you can get it without having to force it, and just wait for the dragon plays.
Yeah, so for Shadow Keepers, they definitely want to just time out this Baron buff. So it's up to DoV Nightfall right now to make use of that buff that they have and the timer they have. We do see Lord of Aces in that top lane, split pushing as he's been doing all game, doing great for himself. Will get the turret, and the rest of DoV Nightfall here, looking mid lane, potentially trying to get damage off, or pardon me, Phantom X is going to split push that bot lane alone. A little risky considering his history of dying in lane, but should be fine. Mid turret should go down once they manage to get the next wave in here. They're getting good poke off, and that siege minion is doing work on its own. But top lane, Kautaiman has rotated to the top to try and pick up Lord of Aces, but it's going to be Alpals who's got to watch out. He's going to go down to Lord of Aces here. Lord of Aces himself will go down to Kautaiman instead, but still, that is a 1-for-1 trade. And in the mid lane, Non-Stop Brain getting hit out by a Thresh hook. In lane, Nautilus versus Thresh. Thresh might not want to hit that Nautilus, but now that the laning phase is done, he doesn't care if he hits Non-Stop Brain. That's still a kill if his team is there. And they will get the inner turret, they will get the inhibitor turret, and Kautaiman going to try and pick up another kill, but a good redemption coming out of Web Hippo will keep him alive. And they're going to lose that inhibitor in the mid lane. Rinks manages to 1v1 Phantom X. We had concerns and worries that Phantom X was going to be exposed alone, and unfortunately it looks like that is exactly what happened. Phantom X will go down without being able to take that inner turret on the bot side. So far the Baron count here for turrets is going to be 2 turrets in the mid lane, 1 inhibitor, and they're going to set up for that second Inferno Drake of the game. And if DoV can get that, that's going to be an 8% boost on their ability power and their attack damage, and they could potentially get up to as much as 16% if they do end up dragging the game out to the soul point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it will go that long, but I mean, we have seen crazier things.
And the bullet time coming out from Poison Lynch onto the Drake to take it down faster. I'm not sure that's necessarily the best move there, as Shadow Keepers is coming up. Web Hippo now going to throw his life to stall as much as he can, but he did have a bounty. Thresh 4, 1, and 6. We did not notice his Web Hippo had a 400 gold bounty on him, which will now transfer over to Alpals. And we've seen what happens when Alpals gets a lead on Assassins here. Top lane, Phantom X going to continue pushing on his own. The split pusher of this game, I guess, is not going to be Lord of Aces, but instead it's going to be that Orianna. Does manage to get that top lane inner turret, though, for the team. Well played.
Yeah, it's very interesting that they have Phantom split pushing with Ori. Maybe just because currently with like how respawn timers and just like how the map is set up, it's really just beneficial for her to be off on her own to try to, get that solo XP, get levels, get some gold. Because I mean, she is relatively far behind in CS compared to Alpaz.
Yeah, so they're just trying to funnel some gold into Oriana, help her get back in. She is about 500 gold down when previously she was closer to about 700, 1,000 gold down. So Phantom X able to slowly start catching up a little bit here, narrowing the lead. But the rest of the team, DoV Nightfall is well and ahead of Shadow Keepers here. There's about a 6,500 gold difference here in favor of DoV Nightfall. A lot of that sitting in that ADC role there, about 2,500 just sitting there, and that's almost a complete item for the ADCs. Poison Lynch having 2 completed items compared to the 1 completed item from Louisville Gent here. So well, it's quite a big difference. And now Carl Timon desperately trying to get out alive as he's getting collapsed on Gunth, Web Hippo, and Phantom X looking to pick him up. And we see Poison Lynch running in from the back, the strut passive going off. He's going to try and do this. And now Carl Timon, some alcove play. Will we see a potential outplay here? Alpaus is going, but Alpaus has given up on Kyle because he's not getting out against 4. And that's going to be Kyle being taken down there. Now bot lane, they're going to try and reverse that. Non-Stop Brain looking to see if he can catch out Lord of Aces, but the Death Realm comes down. And Non-Stop Brain going to be alone in the 1v1. Will most likely not survive this. No, but a good flash will not be able to keep him alive as the burn from the Andres will still take him down. Now Louisville Gent at risk here, but does manage to get out safely. Rings providing tons and tons of CC. Louisville will be able to pick up that kill there, but unfortunately, Lord of Aces is one of the few champions without a bounty on DoV Nightfall side. Instead, DoV Nightfall going to push that lead they got on Carl Timon. Will go to that top lane, get the inhibitor turret, will get the inhibitor. So that's 2 inhibitors down on the side of Shadow Keepers now.
So for a while there, I was like, what is DoV doing? Why do they have 4 people just running around chasing Kyle, trying to kill this Xin Chao? And then Lord Ace is just like, oh, I'm just gonna be over here and deal with both their tanks. Keep their ADC preoccupied while you guys do that. And then all of a sudden, oh look, DoV gets top in him, and now they're on Baron.
Yeah, and they're doing this Baron knowing that there's vision of them. Lord of Ace is not up yet, but does have the teleport available. Flash from Rings to get the engage. He does get Gunth, but Gunth gonna go back in and try and take out Carl Timon, and he will be able to do so. Now Rings gonna try and continue killing Gunth. The depth charge comes out, and he gets a beautiful 5-man knock up there to disengage the fight. So only Alpals and Kyle gonna go down on the side of Shadow Keepers. They pulled the gun early to try and stop the Baron take, but they did succeed in stopping the Baron take for now. And it's now gonna be up to Louisville, Non-Stop, and Rings to stop, make sure that DoV doesn't start Baron up again.
Yeah, that was an interesting.
Oh, but Gunth going in aggressively. He's low, but he doesn't care. He does manage to catch Non-Stop Brain. The bullet time there to separate Shadow Keepers. And it's gonna be Louisville Gent going down. We have a beautiful death sentence. Non-Stop Brain trying to run out, but he was slowed. Will get taken down. It's only Rings left alive now. Kyle will be coming out in about 3 seconds. Alpals in about 6. They will try and hold this, but I don't think they can stop the Baron take now from DoV as all 5 are well and alive and going for the second Baron buff of the game.
I mean, they are alive, but I mean, Gunth is really low. He's got to be extremely careful right now, or he might not be able to survive it.
Just barely he managed to get it. The passive there from the Abyssal Mask, converting some of his mana to health, just barely keeping him alive there. And that is one actually really chunky Mumu there. 2,900, oh, just shy of 3,000 health there. So his health bars, even though it's low, he was probably a little safer there, probably 100, 200 plus. And they're just going to be in time for that Inferno Drake. That's the 3rd Inferno Drake of the game. And DoV has their eyes set on it. They want that damage boost because apparently the bullet time, which can kill Louisville Gent and Non-Stop Brain solo, is not enough for Poison Lynch. He still wants more damage. Now the Twisted Advance coming out from Rings on to Poison Lynch there. Poison Lynch going to have to be really careful, but does manage to get to safety, does get the bullet time off, and will be able to get a ton of damage. Alpel is going to go down to that. Kyle diving the backline, but gets dragged to the Death Realm to keep Poison Lynch safe. He's going to go down. Non-Stop Brain trying to stop the Dragon Take will fail and pay with his life. And that's going to be 4 for 1 in favor. 5. That's an ace triple kill for Poison Lynch in favor of DOV, and they're going to be able to push this in. Phantom X, surprise, surprise, wasn't present well, teleported to the top lane, going for that continued split push with the Baron buff there. They are going to take down the inhib turrets again, and they're now onto the Nexus turrets. Non-stop Brain gonna take about 10 seconds before he respawns, but I don't think he's gonna be back before that Nexus turret goes down, as they're now pounding away on it. Super minions, Baron minions. It's gonna be 30 minutes, 25 seconds. The game time for this first game between DoV Nightfall and Shadowkeepers, 27-11. Well played, DoV Nightfall.
Yeah, well played indeed. I mean, I called it. They're not going to make it to 4. they could not make it to 4 Infernals because they're just like, we're just going to end the game now, guys. We got the ace. Phantom X, go do your thing. Go get us a head start on this. Which, that was a really good teleport. I liked that. The preemptive teleport while they're still finishing off Dragon. Very good call.
Yeah, it might have made the difference there, as Alpels was only 5 seconds away from spawning. Non-stop Brain did already spawn. Most likely they would have lost the game regardless, but they might have been able to turn it. Stranger things have happened before. And so, well played by DoV, and that's something about DoV Nightfall. You can never really count them out just because they're losing in the early game. They specialize in the mid game, and you know, 2 of their players especially stand out for me this game. Gun 4-0 and 14 on that Amumu. Poison Lynch 8-0 and 10 on Misfortune. 700 gold bounty, was basically untouched for most of that game there.
Yeah, that was... There were so many times where Poison Lynch was about to die, but because of the teamwork out of DoV, there's like, nah, man, we got you. Like, for example, like you pointed out, at that last dragon fight, Poison Lynch was so close to dying, but Lord of Aces dropped the Death Realm on Kyle to keep him from killing Poison Lynch.
Yeah, one of the most interesting uses of a Mordekaiser ult we usually see offensively used, but now completely defensive to protect his ADC. And if you are Shadowkeepers after this game, the question is, what are you going to do picks and bans wise next game? You've only got 3 bans because they're using an E-sub, Carl Timon, so they don't have the full range of options available to them. Do you think they should be changing up their bans, Luna?
I would definitely maybe swap out the Shyvana ban for the MF ban. And then I would honestly, I'm not sure if Lord of Aces plays Alawi or not. I would imagine that he does, since they did ban Alawi. But I mean, it's really hard to say. I would definitely keep the Swain ban though, because that game could have ended so much quicker if Web Hippo was on Swain.
Yeah, for sure there. So we'll have to see what Shadowkeepers does in the next game to try and reverse this. And just a reminder to chat here, it is a best of 3 series. So the maximum is 3. If DoV takes the next game, they win the series here. So we'll have to see how game 2 goes. Shadowkeepers have their backs to the wall. We'll now head into an intermission break, and we'll see you guys shortly for game 2 of DoV Nightfall versus Shadowkeepers.